Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is of course me, Tushkai, and today we are here with a brand new attack strategy, probably one of the toughest ones I've done in the Warden Walk Rocket Loons charge. So how we're going to start this out is a Warden Walk, and the goal is really just to keep him alive the entire 3 minutes of the attack. And we're going to kind of sprinkle in rocket loons throughout the duration of the attack as needed. And we have a flame flinger ideally working on one side, Warden on the other, and we have our king and queen kind of deploying as needed, and our royal champion also as needed. So not much of a plan here really, you're just looking for the value. And so one of the things you want to start off with is in fact where can you drop the fireball during your Warden walk. From what I have found, the best defenses to target are the fire spitters, the monolith is up there, the clan castle is a big one down here, and everything else is kind of so-so. Nice to have, but not necessary. But these are the 4 defenses that I like to focus on. However, wherever the value kind of is, and wherever you feel like you can keep your Warden up is really where you should deploy him. So the next thing I'm going to look at is, can I drop a Flame Flinger on this base? And the only things that outrange the Flame Flinger are, of course, Expos, no matter if they're ground or air. The Monolith does, the Fire Spitters do, and Mortars. This multi-gear tower, if it's set to the other configuration, it will, but it's on the ground configuration right now, so we should be okay on that. So this bottom side is looking pretty juicy. We have a couple high-value defenses here. Dominion Prince is a small problem, but if we just take out this mortar on the left side and this mortar on the right side, we should be good to go. So now that we have those 2 points kind of set, it really just depends from the top here if our Warden goes right or if he goes left. After that, we can choose a side for our king and queen, and from there we can kind of see how it goes. I want to say one more thing. The rocket loons, typically I like to use them on the back end. However, anything to keep the Warden alive is when you should be using them. So up here, where we're starting, the monolith is not really a huge deal because it's kind of on its own. The fire spitters are facing the other direction, and the next defenses are pretty far out, so we shouldn't need a lot of help for him in the beginning. Maybe a headhunter onto this enemy king, but besides that, we should be pretty much good to go. So let's jump right in. Alright, so here we go. We got the base. We're going to start at the bottom. Test Loon, test Barbarian. No giant bombs, no Teslas. We're all good to go with the Flame Flinger. Gonna zoom back out, race to the top. Rocket Loon, just to get deeper into the base, because there are spots for Teslas there that could be annoying if we try to fireball. Drop the Warden, we're good to go. One more balloon for the Seeking Air Mines all the way at the back. We're gonna come down, take a peek, all good. Double invis, drop that fireball, and spread our earthquakes so that we take out the monolith and both the fire spitters. Now we're going to try to eat through this barbarian king. Just let our warden work for a little bit. The intro to our attack is kind of set up, and as we're looking around, not really a lot of support needed right now with the rocket loons. Still waiting on our warden to choose a direction. Thankfully, with the warden aura around him, it makes it a little bit easier to see where he's going to go. It seems like he's committed to the right side. Gonna drop a rocket loon in that direction, and we're actually gonna bait that poison tower, which is amazing. Flame Flinger is still gonna work at the bottom. No threat down there. The mortars are kind of there, but for the time being, he's all good. We're gonna start with our heroes now that our warden has committed, and funnel them, kind of enter into that corner compartment with that ricochet cannon. still looking all good, no need for any rocket balloons really. Our Warden is about to step into a pretty high damage area with that Expo, Single Target Inferno, and Archer Queen, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Our Flame Flinger has popped, the Minion Prince has taken it out, so our Super Minions are going to put in work, take out that Minion Prince. It's important to kind of pop your King and Queen abilities at the same time. You want your Giant to get deep into the base and kind of pull some of that damage because he is so tanky. Our Warden has pulled the Queen, but we got a Headhunter for that. Just one shot off, but thankfully that's enough with the Rage. Here comes our Royal Champion. Just take out that Town Hall as quickly as possible, and really trying to support our Warden right now because that is the heavy damage area he's pulling in right now. Giant's going through, our Royal Champion's behind that, which is pretty awesome. Our Queen is down, but we got 10 more Rocket Loons to kind of support here and a whole lot of spells. That multi-gear tower is really going to be the key thing here, so that skeleton spell should help distract. Scattershot is accessible after we take this wizard tower out, so I'm not too worried about that. Just trying to keep our champion up so that we can take that multi-gear tower out, just as many spells as we need. Here come the rest of the Rocket Loons, and those are the last of the defenses, and this is all cleared out, worked out pretty nicely, with our Warden committing, able to keep him up, clean fireball, all went to plan. So this is really what you want to look for, and let's get into the next. So taking a look at our second base here, kind of a similar look to the first one, but again, let's start with our analysis. Here's the monolith, here are the two fire spitters, they're facing kind of outside the base. The core is not covered by the fire spitters, which can be a good or a bad thing because typically the Warden doesn't end up going deep into the center of the base. He kind of will take these outside compartments depending on where he goes. We have, of course, the clan castle right up there with the monolith, so this area in general in the top is looking really juicy to drop our fireball. So we can take a look at where we can best guide the fireball. Coming dead on from the top down here is probably what the defender wants, but I'm looking in between these storages and there's enough space for Teslas basically anywhere up here. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, and coming in from an angle like this will probably be a little bit better for us. In order to take out both the clan castle and the monolith, we can't land on this Inferno Tower. We would have to land either on this building or this building, or even the air sweepers actually would do. So coming in from this side will really allow us to kind of negate the Warden going one way or the other. And so if we drop him on the storage up here, we could probably drop an invisibility up here on those two buildings. A well-placed one here should turn all of these invisible, and probably a third one just to be safe on these two buildings so that we land over here, and that should take this entire compartment out, parts of this compartment, and the monolith. And it will activate both of these invisibility spell towers, and that will be immense value for us if we can land this. So let's back up a little bit. We have two heroes up here. Some builder huts on the side shouldn't be a huge deal. These expos are to ground and air, so they don't have the extended range, which is also a benefit for us. And looking at other parts of the base, there just simply isn't as much value. Flame Flinger is the next part. Where can we drop that? Again, with these fire spitters kind of pointing out like this, it's covering a large portion of the base. We could drop him up here, but again, that's kind of where we want the Warden. Coming in from the side here, it would be pretty easy to take this one out, but to take the Expo out would require quite a bit of commitment, so this side also probably not the greatest. There is some value down here. The text is kind of covering it, but there's two mortars down here. Should be pretty easy to take out, and we're probably going to be able to get kind of these 5, and probably not a whole lot more. But regardless, that's pretty good value, and I like doing the opposite ends, Warden and Fire Spitter, because if the Warden goes one way or the other, it really doesn't matter, and it sets up nicely for your King and Queen to enter the base. So, with that pretty much set, we don't need a huge investment in the beginning with Rocket Loons. A little bit of investment for the Flame Flinger to get its value, and perhaps some to support the Warden if he kind of has one path which I like better than another. Probably use some Rocket Loons to push him towards a certain direction. So as you must have gathered by now, there really is a lot of multitasking and on-the-fly decisions you have to make. But that's the nature of this. It makes it fun. It makes it difficult. So let's get right into it. So here we got the base, and just as before, I wanted to point out the walls at the bottom there. That was not visible in the screenshot, so that's something we have to take into account with our Flame Flinger, because it's not gonna go inside, it's gonna kind of dance around those walls. I'm gonna start off early learning this Barbarian King and the Headhunter. With our Warden stationary, it makes it nice and easy to do the Fireball. You can pretty much see exactly where it's gonna go since he's not moving. It's not like the target's gonna shift. We didn't cover the Air Sweeper, but with that being one tile behind the Ricochet Cannon, we were okay. We took out everything, no Clan Castle or Monolith down, triggered those invisibility towers and all the other defenses up there. So here, I really should have dropped the wall breaker on those walls sooner so our Fire Spitter could kind of come up the middle. Unfortunately, I was late on that, so that did not end up happening. It's going down to the left side, so might be a little capped on the value we get, but it should still take out some important defenses and help us clear out those bottom trash buildings. We're just going to let our Warden work up here. It looks like he's going to commit to the left side, but we're not going to be sure until he hits one of those further storages. I want to point out the Warden pull capacity is 20 units, I think, so dropping that Yeti up there is okay. The Yeti is 18 housing space, so he's not going to pull the Warden, and the Warden is still going to have a mind of his own instead of following other troops. As long as we don't drop anything else up there, we should be good with that. Letting our King and Queen work, as I mentioned in the last attack, kind of want to activate both those abilities at the same time. Here I waited on the Queen ability, just because I wasn't sure where they were heading. King has bounced around outside after opening up all those walls. The Giant Giant's going to go in, but unfortunately we didn't open up the Town Hall compartment, so he's going to kind of walk in there. The Queen's going to circle back to the Town Hall, which is really nice because the Flame Flicker took out that bottom bit, and nowhere to go for her but inside. A little bit behind here with so much happening, but getting some support for our Warden. That invisibility tower has popped. Thankfully the healer stayed out of range, but now we're going to send in Rocket Loons to clear that up, and it's almost like this attack just started, but everything has coalesced onto that 9 o'clock side with our Royal Champion helping out on that left side. I could not commentate fast enough for this attack, so that just kind of speaks to the level of multitasking that's going on and how quickly things can go with so much working in unison. We had a whole lot left, 4 rocket balloons and a ton of spells still up. So let's take a quick look at the army one last time. 2 headhunters, 5 healers, 20 rocket balloons, 2 super wall breakers, and some cleanup and funneling in there. Spells, you can swap the invis and freeze amounts as you wish. We didn't use a siege barracks, but that could be helpful if you don't get flame flinger value. And on our left side, the pros use the angry jelly with the Warden, but I'm not there yet. Maybe in the next video I'll have that for you guys. See you next time.